This is just AMZN on Tuesday, April 9th, 2019, with a look at what we did today. Pre-market, we pulled right back down with pretty much a nice hammer bounce off of or near the 1841.30. Made a higher high in the day, or I'm sorry, made a higher high in the 5 minute and made a higher high in the day pretty quickly off the gate. Then we chopped around for about 45 minutes, started to rally again, and this time couldn't make it back up to that high, which was also a high wave doji at a very, very recent, or a new high of, what was it, six months or so, right? And then have this inverted hammer that then breaks down, forming this evening star reversal right here. Again, we just go sideways, and you can start to see, let me see if I can draw this. If you kind of grab the pre-market level, kind of like this, and then the highs get a little harder, but if you squint, if you kind of look at where the bodies are at, it kind of looks like a triangle. Going off the highs in this case, I mean, you could, I'm always looking for triangles, if you do the highs, connect that and then continue drawing it, and you'll see that we don't get back up into it here. And then the lows are a little more problematic here because it doesn't really fit going sideways here. That just doesn't really work. So then you're way out at the 1841.30 price. I guess you could angle this down a little bit more, and you start to see a bigger triangle. Like the whole day is this big triangle that then we come down here, we get a nice hammer, start to bounce, have a lower high, lower low, inside candle, and then break down, taking out this low. But we already moved down so much from here down to here. We only had a little bit more of a bearish move, had some volume come in, people thinking that's it. We didn't have much to pause at through here. I was hoping we were going to hold this level. Was getting a trade set up for a bounce here. It's like, you know what? I'm going to wait and see if we get another leg lower, which we did. And it just felt too bearish, even though there were so many bearish candles in a row. And then you get a little bit of a bounce, It's like, this totally looks like a double bottom. It's like, okay, I get the feel like this is going to trap some people, It did make a new low on the day. This is a retest of that low of the day. It's like, this looks too bearish to go bullish right here. And then it came down here and, made a new low. Then it started to bounce. And then this massive, I was going to say massive volume, but it looked like a really large volume after all of this. You can see the volume level coming in with this candle and immediately pull back on the next candle. And then this is where I was thinking, okay, if there's any chance this going bullish, it should be right in here. Like you have the stair step. It just really broke bullish, got above the 21, pulled back quicker than I thought. I didn't think it was going to pull back in. I had a trade set up as this, as this candle was going, I hit send on my order to get in, kind of with like a breakout of this, this stair step here. And it filled over here. And then I was only up about, I was up about an R right here and tightened my stop. It's like, okay, this thing is either going to go and get above this high, or it's going to come right back down and stop me out. And it ended up stopping me out for a small loss. So it was nice that it was only a small loss because I think I would have lost an R way down here and then some had I held through all this, which, I'm not going to hold through that. I've got my stop in place. But anyway, lost small. And, if you kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture of what's going on here, we had this interaction with this price yesterday. We had a lot more interaction with it today, a couple times, and we're back below it. So if we go look at the daily, we've just had this steady move upward. It's okay to go sideways here. I thought we were going to go sideways in this range for a while. We did. I thought we were going to go sideways a little bit more when we got up into this level, but we actually pushed higher. Um, we're right into some resistance here. It's, it's a resistance before, it's resistance again now. This level has been resistance here, here. We're back up into it. This is now where I'm kind of anticipating a bit more of a rest or a pullback. We can go sideways. We totally go sideways. We can come back into 1815. We could push up to 1863.4. We can chop around in this area. That's fine too. I would like to see a pullback to the 21, and definitely into the downtrend. I would like to see it come back down to 1747. Like X marks the spot. If we can get here, what day is this? The 15th? That's Monday. In the US, that is when taxes are due. So I don't know if it'll happen Monday, but that's a really nice target. And similar to what we did back here, where we had a few more lines, that we were really getting into these prices. If we don't hit that one, there's this one over here. There's this one over here. It'd be great to have a bigger pullback into this downtrend line, because we did do that once, twice, 3 times, 4 times as this pulled back. Now, we've been much stronger bullish. We're taking more time to go bullish than we did here. The way that I sketched this in was a quick move up and then a pullback and then a bounce, just like we had here. Well, it's already stretched out. Where this took, from crossing through the channel, 1, 2, 3 candles to get to this high and then a pullback on the 4th. Well, we didn't trade through. We gapped above. That's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles, and we just made another high today. So clearly not following the same number of candles. The actual dollar amount feels similar. I haven't measured this to see. So this is 1714.50, and this price is 1642. So that's 70, around 70. And then let's see, if we say right here, 1793 up to 1853, it's only about 60. So dollar amount a little bit less, taking more time. We're still getting some bearish candles up in here, just like we're getting in here. So I mean, still just like we gapped up above these 2 candles, if we get a gap up tomorrow and we're up here, I mean, look for that to continue up for maybe a day or 2, and then I'd be very cautiously bullish. Scalp some things and just kind of hold tight, waiting for a bigger pullback. I don't know that this has very much to go strongly bullish. Chopping around, okay. This thing can chop. We know it can chop higher, or grind. I'm sorry, I'm saying chop, but it could grind higher, just like this. Just like these candles. But it needs to come out a good rest. This was a month's worth of rest before it did that, and then this came after a bunch of bearish candles, trapping people and moved a little bit quicker. So over here now, where we're at, we just had this large move, some bearish candles, some rest, and we're going up slowly. So it's a slower grind higher. We got some bearishness coming in people trying to call the top. And that's the only thing that could really slow things down. That's the only thing that could really make things speed up or bullish, is if we're actually, trapping more bears up here, and people are just getting in. So maybe people taking their tax refund. Anyone else who hasn't filed taxes yet on the 15th getting a refund are going to throw it at buying stock or options or something. Who knows? I trying to think the last time it was tax time to see what happened. Oops. Let's go take a trip back to last year? What happened around tax time? Looks like around tax day, we were sideways and then we got a gap up. So, I mean, yeah, we've got similar candles that look like this. We didn't pull back like this right before it, on the month before, but, fewer days of bullishness are possible and then a bigger pullback. Could see that happening again. Wow, if you stretch it out like that, it looks massive. Look at that. Looks like a massive move. I haven't scrolled that for over. I like looking at it like this. It puts in perspective some of these larger candles. We haven't had a really large candle since probably this day, and I think that was a Friday we sold off, right? Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating. Some kind of bigger candle like this, something that's going to pull us back close to the 21 or into this line. Maybe it will happen this week, maybe Monday. I don't know. Doesn't have to happen yet. If we take a look at the 5-minute of the 1850 call expiring this week, let's see. I think this is the one I was doing. Yeah, I always like that 10 by 9, but I didn't have it. I didn't get in here. I was looking to 11 by 10 when it was pulling into this, and it's like, no, that's looking like a trap. Didn't get in here. Got in 10 by 9 over here. Yeah, I think I got filled here at 10 as this pulled back into this. So I think I got really close to that, and it was great being up on the position, but it only went up an R, and I should have exited because it would have been a nice counter trend trade, and it came right into resistance on the option, and it came right into resistance on the stock, and I was seeing this as an inverted head and shoulders. Let me draw that. This is what I was seeing, and didn't work, but I was getting in. Oh, that was a messed up drawing. Let's try that over. Okay. Here is your shoulder and a head and a shoulder, and then there's your neckline. It's like, okay, all we have to do is move up or we're going to break down. And that's what happened. We broke down. My stop was really tight because I wanted it to do it. It's really hard to see all that now. Let me zoom in on just the day. So here we are right here. And it's like, okay, as this candle is forming, it's like, okay, we're right here at resistance. That's the neckline. All we have to do is go higher. With all this bearishness, we broke through some of it on this candle with larger volume. Then we pulled back. Then we're going higher again. It's like, okay, all it has to do is break higher. If we can get up to 1844, then it should continue. And right up here, we're bouncing off the 5. It looked like a nice bounce. It pulled back a little bit further than the 1841.30. That should have been my first signal that it was going lower. I saw this as being a trap. I waited till it actually reversed over here and got in after reversal. That's all working. We just didn't have the bullishness to continue higher. And so the price here, where I was saying, well, that's a retest of this these lows here. Well, that was the same case here. That was the same case here. And then we rolled over. And this was a great place to go bearish. Had to reverse the position up here. Gotten out with 1R and then reversed and got embarrassed, thinking, okay, it didn't go higher. I could get embarrassed here and see if we can make some more on the downside because it just did that. And it just did that. Retest of this low, at least this near this low, and then from here we collapsed pretty quickly, went stair step, the same range we were just doing here that broke bullish. This one, since now we've rolled over, it should break bearish, and nope, it retests a little bit more, comes right back up. This was another place to go bearish because you're coming right into the 1841.30 price. The high here was 1841.47. So let's go look at some puts to see what you could have done. I don't want to say any point today, but there were a lot of opportunities staying on bearish. And let's look at the 1825 to see how those were priced. So first thing I noticed is there was lower volume. When you get some of these smaller candles, clearly there's not as much volume on those. We put in a low at 6, a low at 6, a low at 590, a low at 589, and 6 was the right price to be buying for it to continue to move up, retest the high of the day at the open, getting into 9. So that could have worked. 6 by 5 with the target around 8 or 9. 2 or 3R. That would have been great. If you look at the 1850 put, this one was a little bit harder because it had a wider range or larger candles where it was harder to get in for that $100 risk. In this area, you were pulling back into some of the lows. I mean, we were making 15 by 14 work here, and it technically did have a $15 price right here on the low. Let's see, this is 1135. At 1135, oops, up here. Yeah, we weren't going higher. You would have been buying puts on this candle, even though it looks like it's going higher. In this case, that would have, this inside candle, a breakdown, that was an evening star reversal, you get a stair step, kind of a little bit of retest. This is the candle to go bearish on here, not necessarily speculating at this one. So on this candle, that's 1150. So at 1150, you are probably around 16. So 16 by 15, it looks like it worked, but just, a little harder to have that confidence in the $100 risk. When some of these, larger candles, they got a larger than $1 risk or range on them. Decent volume, 97 shares here, mostly double digits until you get into this where there's just some single digits this time frame. Otherwise, you're looking at strikes in between, something that's far enough away. I mean, we only got out of the money by $3 here. So in the 1825, maybe you're not going to make as much. So maybe go with 1840 and see what was going on there. So the first thing I see is the low around 10. Which you could wait for it to do 10 by 9 and get in. If it gets down there, in this case it didn't, you could have done 11 by 10 here instead. But that had a nice gain, ran up to 15. As it made this move, you probably would have taken some profit, probably on this candle where it makes another move lower. It's like, oh, let me take some profit. That's right at 1230. So that would have been right here. So maybe you got in 11 by 10 and got out of some at 14. That works too for 3R. And then, just move your stop up and just hold on to this thing and maybe get out for a little more at 15 or 1550. I don't know if you're calling the bottom, probably not. Because this is looking like it's going to continue. We had 30 minutes of bearish candles here. Then we had 30 minutes of bearish candles here. Just by counting those bearish candles, it's like, okay, we should bounce soon. And if we're going to bounce down here, we should get back up into this line, which we did pretty quickly. So we talked about what could happen the rest of the week, talked to the 5-minute. Guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Justin AMZN.